Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I'm 23 years old, and just like everyone else, my 2020 sucked. It started off decently. January and February were really nothing, I just worked all the time. But when March 2020 rolled around, that's when I got sick with COVID-19. At first, it felt like I was catching the flu. You know, the muscle aches, chills, fatigue. But then I started noticing other changes in my body that weren't typically normal for me. I noticed that my heart rate was staying at 110 BPM resting, which for a 22-year-old healthy female, that's clearly not normal. Followed by the fast heart rate. I was out of breath. My whole body started swelling with fluid. My blood sugar was completely out of whack, which I'm a hypoglycemic. And lastly, I started having issues with keeping my potassium up, which this later turned out to be my kidneys were damaged from the virus and they were flushing out potassium and other things. A few weeks later, skipping to the end of April 2020, I became really sick. My mom, who's been a nurse for 22 years, also caught COVID and then passed it to her girlfriend. Since we were all having a hard time taking care of ourselves, we weren't really sure where this virus was gonna take us, so we ended up all staying in my mom's apartment so we could look out for each other. Starting of May 2020, I was constantly in and out of the hospital. I even had to go by ambulance twice, in really bad condition. They ran so much blood work on me. They also did a few CT scans, EKGs, and because my abdomen was swollen, they did a bunch of other tests. I do know that they did stick a camera up inside of me to see what was going on. Now, one question that I have been asked a lot is, were the hospitals actually full? And to answer your question, absolutely. I had actually gone to 3 different hospitals in the Austin, Texas area, and each one was very busy and full of COVID patients. When the month of June rolled around, on one of my last hospital visits in Round Rock, Texas, which I would like to say it was a really great hospital. I think it was a Baylor Scott and White, and the medical team was just really amazing to me. So I just want to give that shout out. But anyways, they had me and 10 other patients out in the hallways on beds because every room was full of COVID patients. They were trying to find places to send out their patients, but every surrounding hospital was full as well. And I would like to say that as sick as I was at the time, I truly felt sorry for all the nurses and doctors because you could just tell they weren't getting any sleep and they were all running around with their heads cut off. Not to mention the fact that we were part of the first wave of COVID, so medical professionals were still learning how to deal with COVID patients. I can only imagine that they were just as scared as we were.
We're human just like everybody else. We have emotions. The same thing that affects you would affect me.
We're just running. We don't have time to eat or drink or use the restroom.
They have kids at home doing online school, and I think, gosh, they haven't even been able to check on their kids to see how they're doing.
My days off, I spend sleeping half the day. You're exhausted, and eating because we don't get to eat here.
So my heart really does go out to those who lost loved ones to COVID-19, whether that be someone who was sick with it or someone who was fighting to save the lives of those who were sick with it. Moving on, my last hospital visit in the beginning of June that I just mentioned is when I actually was diagnosed with another illness.
You might as well go buy some cigarettes too, because I like to have a smoke after I get good and
Now, I'm sure you must be thinking, wow, this girl is God's favorite. And not to brag, but nah, I'm just kidding. But I did develop encephalitis. And if you don't know much about encephalitis/meningitis, like I didn't, apparently you can develop either of them after having an infection or virus. Anyways, it took me the entire month of June to get over encephalitis. But alas, ya girl made it. And just when I thought things were starting to look upward, I still felt like I had the flu. After a doctor's visit shortly after my birthday on August 30th, I was diagnosed with what they call chronic fatigue syndrome. Yep, you guessed it, another illness. For those of you who don't know what chronic fatigue syndrome, which I didn't either, it is something people can develop after having a traumatic event or being really ill. CFS doesn't have a cure per se, and it can either go away on its own with time, typically within 2 years, or some even have it for the rest of their life. Now, if you're wondering what it feels like to have CFS, imagine running 2 marathons while having the flu. That's exactly what it feels like every single day.
Pretty, pretty, please kill me. I want to
Muscle aches, body pain,
put a bullet in my head.
fatigue. Your body feels like it weighs 1,000,000 pounds, and you get random chills and hot flashes. After being diagnosed, I won't lie to you, I was in a pretty dark headspace. Being only 23, having just turned 23, I thought my life was over.
Good riddance is what they said.
I spent the next 8 months eating nothing but healthy foods, whole foods, doing at-home physical therapy, making sure I got plenty of fresh air and vitamin D, and lo and behold, we have reached May of 2021. It brings me a lot of happiness to say that after over a year of hard work, I have officially recovered. However, I would like to mention that my mom and her girlfriend, who were in the same boat as me, are still steadily making progress each day. They are a lot better than they used to be, that's for sure. But my mom did develop some heart issues. Of course, though, I will keep praying for them and helping them. I know it might take me a minute to get back on my feet, being sick and not having worked in over a year, but I know with God on my team, I can accomplish anything. If you happen to have stumbled upon this video, first and foremost, I would like to say thank you for sticking around and listening to my story. On that note, I will end the video here. Thank you, and if you would like updates on my journey, just leave a comment letting me know. Thanks for watching. Bye!